Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Fallout New Vegas. Now at the very end of the last recording the game just crashed, so we ended running around here just kind of reproving that even though I have eliminated the person who would be in this area, this is still stealing to go into the safe, and sometimes you just lose karma for even opening things, and sometimes you lose karma if you take things, so the whole system is weird. So what we're doing, as far as, I guess we did get to keep this beret, so we might as well equip it. And I guess, I'm assuming we won't have any companion shot otherwise, standing over here wearing the beret. We could have made that character our companion, the sniper up there. Boone. We could have made him our companion, and more than likely he was supposed to be the first companion you would get, thus he would be the best you could get it so far, but Eddie is better, and just having a high science level seems to have accomplished that. So, main storyline, main quest line wise, it definitely feels like the move was you were supposed to start the game in Goodsprings, run and ignore a decent amount of this stuff, although you could do it. Certainly, you could go to the Mojave Outpost, you could see what's going on with Neptune, go back to the Mojave Outpost, you could do everything I did at Prim and the NCR Correctional Facility, but you really haven't moved the main story forward until you get to Novak, which is, there's just not as direct of a path from that spot to this spot. And so we might be a third of the way through the whole game, really, too, in that we may just get into New Vegas and then work our way around in circles a couple times. But we're trying to find the parts, and that's going to take us to Gibson's scrapyard, which is here, which is also a place where this other companion optional quest goes. And otherwise, I think there really is only 2 or 3 quests in Novak. So who knows, maybe they've split things up in some way, so that you go around and then you get 3 more quests in an area. Fallout 3 kind of had an experience something like that. No Bark is here. As you can see him knocking the bottles down. So I wonder if this concept of using bottle alarms will be used anywhere else in the game. But yeah, that's as far as we went. So this should all be new territory, new opportunities to potentially run into enemies. One thing that I have recognized here is that my gun skills are particularly low, so if I lost Eddie, you might see a massive fallback in just how easy it would be to get further in the game. Repcon O chair. So in we go. Let's see if we have a dog here. Perhaps not. Talking dog. Weird that the Nuka-Cola unit is broken. Let's see if we can find a human here, or is it just a couple of dogs? Old Lady Gibson. And then we can activate a workbench, but we don't have any recipes to actually craft anything, so we're trying to get the starter for the rocket ship.
Hi there. I'm Old Lady Gibson, or so they tell me. I've got odds and ends for sale, and I'm pretty good at fixing things, too. You might have noticed the very large building just north of here. That's Helios 1. The NCR runs the place, so it's off limits to prospectors.
And as soon as we started talking to her, Eddie unlocked some data. So we're looking for thrust control modules from Repcom.
As it so happens, I do have some thrust modules, but they're expensive. 500 caps worth of expensive.
Let's see. I should probably have my barter up even higher. I could probably do that too. But we can just do speech.
Yes, you are quite the smooth talker. What the hell? $250 it is.
See, you only have one of those you have to do. So you can't do both and get it even cheaper.
Pleasure doing business with you.
Subject E, diagnosis complete. Begin recording. My name is Whitley. I'm a researcher at Adams Air Force Base. Until recently, I was in charge of the Duraframe reinforcement project for the combat model iBots.
So we're getting a side quest just from coming here.
iBot Duraframe Subject E is both the prototype and the last functional model in this test group. I was prepared to make several significant upgrades to the machines. However, as the project was canceled and all Duraframe assets are being diverted to Hellfire armor, I am sending this model to the Navarro outpost.
Interesting, so maybe we can upgrade Eddie, make him even better.
If you're listening to this log from one of our Enclave outposts in Chicago, give this unit whatever repairs it needs so it can continue to Navarro.
So this is basically the first mention of the Enclave also that the game has mentioned. Eddie appears to have some Enclave log data stored and is triggered by some keywords. Okay. Let's see if there's anything else to talk to her about, or at the very least we can...
you're back. Now, where did we leave off?
Let's see. If I ask
Sure thing.
for repairs,
Let me have a look.
that would be repairing some items. I could repair everything, but that probably is a mistake. I could see just repairing the radiation suit. That way. And she can only repair to 79%, so eventually my skill itself would repair even higher if I just continue to increase my repair stats, which probably is going to play a bigger role in New Vegas than it would in
Happy to do it.
in like Fallout 3 because of the gun runner's arsenal. Yeah. And modding guns. She has a bunch of stuff that really would only be useful if you had the schematics for it. Okay. Not sure I have anything else on me that I want to sell. We'll sell some of this food, I guess. And alcohol. We could sell some stim packs 20 might be a little too many to have, particularly since super stim packs now are a consideration. And eventually I guess I'd probably be able to just directly convert 2 stim packs into 1 super stim pack. Yeah. And do we have anything else that is taking up space that we should sell? Notice we really haven't gotten anywhere with Mayor Stin's journal. You would have thought that would have opened up a new quest by reading the journal, and it really didn't. Okay, so I think that's enough trading there.
Give me a shout if you need anything else.
Let's exhaust the rest of the dialogue.
Well, I'll give you a hint. They used to just call me Gibson. I hope you can figure out the rest. I don't mind, to be honest. Living long is a real accomplishment these days. Remains to be seen if I end up dying peaceful in my bed. The way I heard it, the Brotherhood of Steel ran the place before the NCR took it away from them. I'm not sure who started shooting first. But when it was over, the Brotherhood, with all their fancy armor and weapons, was on the run. Nobody's heard from them since.
Yep.
Take care now.
So, let's see, can we actually talk to him? Let's see. I'd like to make some ammo. Can you help me? Companion protocol terminate. So we could have him just kill himself. Why would we do that? Oh, so at any point also I could have used him to break down items. I kind of forgot about that. So there has been at least one time where yeah, he has a reloading and a crafting bench built into him. So there's really just no justification at all for ever being over encumbered if you have any reloading or crafting that can be done. Now what I thought was going to happen here is that we would lose our companion potentially. I thought there might just be more going on. There was a fairly large car junkyard in Fallout 3, and it seems like the same concept is being copied here with a much smaller effect. In Fallout 3 it was a very large area that was basically a maze. Here it seems like it's simply just copying the concept for no reason. Like, I'm not seeing any items to find or anything that feels like it would be items to find. I'm seeing a bunch of dogs. So if this was going to be like a really dangerous place where the wolves / dogs were going to attack me, that might be something. But what can I say? That is just like downright disappointing. Alright. And I guess in the hope of more engagement, more conflict, finding something to shoot, I will just walk back to the Robco, or Rocket Co., subsidiary of Robco, Maybe they even changed their name when they started focusing on robots instead of rockets. But yeah, it might be something interesting if we follow off the road diagonal straight shot paths from one point to the other. Or nothing will happen and then we'll just have wasted a couple of seconds, maybe a minute or two extra. If this was a fantasy game, you would half expect all these off the highway paths to be some kind of magical cursed earth that as soon as you step on it, you run a chance of random encounters or skeletons coming out of the ground. In this case, I would assume it would be lizards and geckos and rad scorpions should just come out of the ground as soon as you start to walk on the ground instead of the road. It definitely gave the impression like that was how this game was going to work, but really isn't. So this quest that we're moving forward on is the quest that we've already kind of handled as far as the ghouls in the facility. The humans want the ghouls gone. We're just about ready to help the ghouls leave anyways. They're going to leave in the rocket ships, and either one of two things are going to happen. The rocket ships are going to explode in a comedic outturning of events, or the ghouls are actually going to make it to space and live happily ever after, as far as we will know. I'm gonna take the drug the cat's eye drug that makes you see in the darkness next time I have a full dark tunnel like this. Right now, we're not gonna spend that much time in here, so it doesn't justify doing that. And this human outcast felt like an outcast because he was bald and started hanging out with the ghouls and convinced himself that he was a ghoul until we unconvinced him.
Have you found the components we discussed? Indeed you did. And they seem to be in excellent condition.
Alright. So, the rockets are set to go, right?
Yes. I'll tell Jason that the great journey can begin. The rockets are ready, Jason. The great journey can begin. Good luck, I guess. Hey.
Gather all. May the Creator guide my words.
Interesting, no subtitles here.
The Almighty Creator has seen fit to answer our prayers. The time has come for us to board the rockets and begin the great journey. Though it may seem that all humans despise us, the Creator has seen fit to instruct us differently. The journey ahead would have been impossible if not for the intercession of two
definitely should have been a cutscene.
friends, one new, the other a long, abiding companion. To our new friend, we say thanks, and promise never to forget how we cleared from our path the demons who sought to stay our journey. But to Chris, we owe more than thanks. Chris, you have made this great journey a reality. From this moment forward, you will be remembered as the saint of the great journey. We shall never forget you. I ask that you forgive us, Chris, and give us your blessing. And we bestow ours upon you. Seekers, board the rockets. Take your seats. The great journey awaits. To the promised land we go. To the far beyond.
Hello. Hey. Hello. Hey.
And he's leaving via the ladder, it seems like. I'm not sure these guys are actually getting on the rockets and leaving. I thought we were gonna see them all get into the rockets and then the rockets shoot off. But who knows? I guess let's follow... what's his name? We can't go through this door. That's surprisingly sincere. I was definitely expecting a betrayal. I think in Fallout 3 you would have had some kind of comedic outcome or betrayal happen there. Instead of an actual, what seems like sincere effort for them to shoot off the rockets. But I also am just kind of questioning, where are they going? Like, where does the ground open up and the rockets shoot? Let's see. Enter the facility and discover the source of the ghouls. Head up to the viewing platform and complete the launch sequence. Okay. So the direction I'm facing tells me I should be able to find viewing platform. Is there a way up there? What's the way? Yeah, we're supposed to be going to a viewing platform. This doesn't lead to a viewing platform. I swear I saw him walk this way, and so he probably should have said follow me. We've just not found the path to that section. Is it through this radiation spot? No. So maybe it's over this way? We've got arrows pointing all over the place. I didn't see anything in the mapped area that felt like it would end up over there. And is this fence just completely fenced in, or do we have to walk all the way to this spot just to get around? Is this a dead end? Yes, it is. Okay. What's the trick here? Either I missed an exit completely in the building. And this is a great example of where the local map is just not going to be that helpful. Repcon test site is here. There's another area telling me to go this way, so yeah, let's just go in the building. I think at the very least that might move the main quest forward. There must have been a path I missed. Completed. Enter the facility and discover the source of the ghouls. Head up to the viewing platform. X show location. Okay, I guess it is the research labs. Is what the way you get there. Alright. Work our way around. This is quite a lot of covering already covered ground, considering how it's almost impossible that there would be any enemies in this area. Right. Repcon test site. Okay, so there was a door here I totally missed. Maybe it was locked before. That may be the case. Or maybe you could have gotten to this point. Launch button or navigation button. And I guess they are coming out of the ground either here or here or here. Let's do navigation. Let's see, the console displays a wealth of information concerning the predicted trajectory for the rockets. What do you want to do? Let's examine the navigation data further. Examining the trajectories a little further, it looks like the computer has set a non-optimal route to a specific destination. You surmise that with minor alterations you can plot a course that will take them 12.5% closer to their intended destination. Do they want to be 12.5% closer to it? Let's see. Let's go ahead and make the changes. And they will land closer to their target. So that gained karma and gave me 55 experience for doing that. It's now locked into the new settings. So that definitely feels like that was worth doing. We're going to press it. And the music has changed and we have a full cutscene now where they've hidden the heads-up display and the guns. I would have thought the other human would have been here with us, but I guess he's just left. And I guess we could have looked up a little bit more. And so that gave me an achievement for completing that quest, and I am now liked. Enough news of your good works has passed around the people that people like you. And so that quest is done, and that gave me 800 XP and almost certainly leveled me up. So what were we struggling with just a moment ago? Barter not being at 50. Lockpick or repair. Repair is going to be in the percentages. Where? Yeah. 20 plus this would give you 75. 20 plus this would give you 75. I think what I want to do here is just push medicine up to that point and throw 1 point into guns. Okay. And so now we once again at level 10 can get a perk. So it seems like we get a perk every every 5 upgrades levels. You should be able to plot this out a little bit better, but not really. Alright, so the move here It's, When the sun is down, the night person gains both +2 intelligence and perception. This perk directly affects your internal clock and remains active both inside or outside. That's a thought, because then extra intelligence, but then you'd have to make sure you're leveling up at night time. Strength is raised to 10 and you gain +15 threshold whenever your health drops below 20. Let's see. You don't want to level up quicker. 5 extra points. Finesse, extra luck. Strong back, at some point I may take. Scrounger is not important. Quick draw is not important. Commando, probably not important. +3 to your overall damage threshold is probably not that important. Accuracy in VATS being increased significantly for one gun would be nice. Yeah, I'm not sure any of this. Oh, like, yeah, the move is intense training. Again, just do that again. And with intense training, I'm going to put intelligence up to 9, and then it's going to see if we can just continue to do intense training to increase our endurance up as much as possible. So then we could get augments at the med center that I looked up and know exists. Otherwise it would just be probably trying to get your strength up, although barter and speech goes up with charisma. And I guess the real question is what it would have been the perfect thing. You start with 40 points. You probably should start with intelligence being at 9 from the very beginning, and then maybe endurance up fairly high too, but you probably would just get everything down to a 4 to get intelligence up to 9. Okay. So let's go ahead and just fast travel to Novak. I'm technically inside of a building. And see where the human guy ended up and wrap up that story. And then I guess the question will come down to, oh, this may crash, or this may just sit here and load forever. The question is going to come down to, do we go to Boulder City and move this main story forward, or do we investigate Helios 1? I imagine we just investigate Helios 1 first. And there's not a lot of other options as to what we could do. We're definitely not getting any prompting to go back and check any other area and see if something's changed. We're not getting a lot of options to go to too many other areas. Yeah, and I think this is just going to load forever. So we don't have a full-on crash here, but we have infinite loading, which is about as bad. None of the other sections have taken this long to load. Yeah. Let's see. We can just stop it and reload the game. Means we may have to watch that whole sequence again, but everything else should be fine because the game should have auto-saved, unless it corrupted the autosave. That is another thing certainly that modern games still have yet to really embrace, is a copy on write system with save files, rolling releases effectively. Like, it doesn't in this cutscene actually move you to a specific spot, so we can get a slightly different angle in engine cutscene here. I guess you just don't hear an explosion. But yeah, autosaves really should have more of a system to them. Where you keep 10 rotating save files always. That way, if one becomes corrupt, it's not a deal. It's not a big deal. And Eddie's just playing the music here. So it's not like there's any enemies around. Finishing this whole section, it does definitely feel a little lackluster, like there were more things that felt like they could have happened and didn't happen. Particularly with that whole basement fighting the Nightkin setup. And I thought the Bright Brotherhood may very well have turned out to be just like our scientist city, where I'm gonna have to look at the local map just to see where I'm going. Yeah, I thought this was gonna be the scientist city where we would end up getting more repairs. Might be going in circles a little bit here. This might be an area now where I could pick up things without stealing, but I think this was an area where we could pick up things without stealing anyways. And all of that was literally just to get out to fast travel this way. Okay. So we have no clue where the bald guy would go. We could check our stats here just to see what our radiation is at. It's very low. Hello. So don't need to do anything with that. This is still labeled as Jeannie Mae's house, even though Jeannie Mae is dead. So I may very well have to just go into every single room to try and find the guy and see if he even is here. He may not actually be here.
Hey.
Here he is. We found him. We got lucky there.
Welcome to Novak. It's not very exciting here, but the people are friendly enough. My engineering skills have been coming in handy too. I've got plenty to do. Thanks for telling me about this place.
Notice the animations there to transition from point A to point B and then sit down are fairly rough by modern standards. Okay. And so, somewhat, I guess that would point you towards the main story quest a little bit more. But I feel like it's still pretty easy to miss. So my goal, I guess, is go to Helios 1. Otherwise, it would be investigating Clark Field, which we could go and investigate. Well, we've already been to Clark Field. We could investigate the abandoned BOS, Brotherhood of Steel bunker, and Camp Forlorn Hope. Then eventually we are just moving to the main story of Boulder City and Repcon headquarters. I feel like we may have missed some things down this path that we haven't investigated. And I also feel like across this river or somewhere over here is going to be the Legion Legion people. Now, is it worth it to fast travel like that?
Hey, so you're back. Now, where did we leave off? Take care now.
Okay. Seems like nobody's really going to comment on the rockets. And it kind of feels like you might just find the rockets crashed on the surface of Earth somewhere. I'm not 100% sure that the rockets were even programmed to go into space. They could literally just have taken them to some irradiated zone that is a better place for ghouls to live at on Earth in North America. Yeah. Bethesda, specifically Todd Howard, still very much does not want to tell any of the stories outside of America. So for all we know, every other country has just thrived perfectly fine after the war. Or they could still just be at war and ignoring America because it's a wasteland and not worth spending your time on. A lot of visual pop-in happening here. It looks like we can at least approach the NCR.
This is a restricted area. State your business.
Speech 35. I'm with the NCR. Anything I could do, Hope? Let's see. Let's just be honest.
Or you're a Legion spy trying to infiltrate our perimeter. Give me one good reason I should let you through.
Let's see. Well, our science seems to be good. So we'll go with that one.
No need. We already have an expert hard at work on it. Then again, our expert is an idiot. Hell, he might as well be a saboteur. I guess you couldn't do any worse. Have him fill you in on the details. He's in the back of the building. You'll know him when you see him. Keeps his sunglasses on all the time, even when he's sleeping.
Will it exhaust the rest of the dialogue?
There should, but we're not getting much power out of it, so none of our enemies have big interest in it either. Not like Hoover Dam, anyway. We had a real fighting force here just long enough to take it from the Brotherhood of Steel. Then they got sent east to the dam like everybody else. Caesar's Legion sends skirmishers every so often, prodding for weaknesses mostly. The reality is, if they really wanted it, we'd all be dead.
Again, just exhausting all the lines of dialogue.
Damned if I know. Put up a hell of a fight, though. We had them outnumbered, I don't know, 20 to 1 maybe? They held out as long as they could, lost most of their force before they retreated. Gave us a little parting gift, too. They had some of the plant running, but they shut it all down. Enabled an old security system, too, to keep us away from the controls. Jerk-offs. I ask myself the same question all the time. But energy is hard to come by around here. Gives you more control over this area than troops ever could. Hell, if we lose the dam to the Legion, this little plant may be our last stand.
So,
Later.
one thing about the Fallout universe, particularly as the Fallout Amazon Prime TV show is kind of ruining that thought of the resource wars, is that they were all about nuclear power and had basically not developed any kind of fossil fuel energy sources or solar. So if this is a solar plant, which would make sense for Helios 1, being the name, that feels a little out of canon. Of course, the TV series feels really out of canon, but kind of explains it away. And it would be spoiler to go any further into that, but yeah. If all resources were available, then the resource wars probably wouldn't have happened in the first place. Right, so can we just activate this terminal? Well, again, just pretend like we're going to read these. That's going to give us things on the map, I think. And I suspect that there's probably something fairly big in this facility. But it might be not anything that big. It might be like a power suit of armor. It might be the only power suit of armor in the entire game. Now activating these ham radios still doesn't seem like it really does anything. Yep. So you have a very different experience here now, where we're walking through what is pretty much the exact same facility. Guess if I can take it, I will take it this time, as far as bullets go. But yeah, unless I played as a bad guy working with the Legion, that seems about the only way I could have turned this facility into an environment where it would make sense that they'd be shooting at me and aggressive. I'm still wondering how much we have to move the main story forward before we can actually be considered friendly with the NCR. It may be a case that you just have to go all the way to the Hoover Dam before you can even start that quest path. Because these outposts for the NCR may very well be not considered the main base of the NCR, thus not the quest givers of the NCR. You'd think maybe you could throw some rad roaches here and there. My science is probably pretty high. And the other guy's always wearing sunglasses, so maybe he's supposed to be a synth. I don't know if synths are actually going to show up in this game at all. I'd assume this is our sunglasses guy.
Who the hell are you? They bring you in to replace me? They're replacing me, aren't they? Worried? Do I look worried to you? I've got this under control, baby. No one else can do what I do here.
Let's go ahead and just talk to him.
What else? I'm in charge. This whole operation depends on me. No fantastic, no power. Got the whole NCR suckling my teats, and it feels so good.
So I imagine he just doesn't know what he's doing, and he's just scamming them.
Well, see, we're getting power because the guy running this place is fantastic. But the mirrors outside aren't aimed right, so we're running at 1% efficiency. And I guess that just isn't good enough for some assholes. Trouble is, most of the controls for this place aren't here. They're in the tower. And that place has some crazy pre-war security system that the dumb shit NCR set off when they took over. Killed 2 guys. Now they won't go near it. They want me to make an omelet, but I can't break any of their eggs. Know what I'm saying?
Let's ask. How'd you get the job?
It was easy, man. They were going door to door asking if anyone knew any scientists. I said look no further. They asked me if I knew anything about power plants. I said as much as anyone I had ever met. They asked me how well I understood theoretical physics. I said I had a theoretical degree in physics. They said welcome aboard.
That's a joke. A theoretical degree, as in you don't have a degree at all.
Fuck, man. Everything. I push buttons, I turn dials, I read numbers. Sometimes I make up little stories in my head about what the numbers mean. Like one time I imagined they were a code to get into a vault full of naked women. Man, how cool would that be?
So he has no idea what he's doing?
No, man. I know exactly what I'm doing. I just don't know what effect it's going to have. Over there controls power in this building. That station has readouts on the computer network. That big knob there makes a crazy noise. Sparks come out of that slot if you put stuff in it. And I'm learning more every day.
So he needs our help, obviously.
There's these 2 terminals outside. They control the mirrors. I tried fooling with them, but didn't get very far. You'd have to get them to talk to the mainframe up in the tower, then do the rest from up there. I'm guessing, but it sounds good, right? Hey, you're not thinking about going up there, are you? Well, hey, if you find yourself up at the mainframe, do yourself a favor and make sure you send the power to the right place. It needs to go to the Strip and McCarran.
Why should power go to the Strip and McCarran?
Because I get paid, that's why. Per kilowatt hour. Whatever the hell that is. That's where the NCR wants the power, so that's where I want it. But you know, you do that, maybe I put in a good word for you with them. Fantastic's little helper. There's a reputation you can hang your hat on. Here, you want this. It's the password to one of the terminals outside. Found it written on one of the stalls in the bathroom.
Okay. So it seems to me like our quest would be to either send it to the Strip or McCarran, or maybe decide to send it somewhere else. Giant panel here.
Hello.
Who is this guy?
It's unusual to see a new face here. Are you a soldier or a scientist?
His face is a little too similar to Fantastic's face.
Then we have that in common. Whom do you typically work with?
Let's see.
Very well, yes. I'm part of the followers of the apocalypse. If you're not familiar, we seek peace and the spread of knowledge. Knowledge that must never be lost to the world. Now your turn.
I wonder if that's an enclave thing. Let's go with I want what you want.
That's reassuring. Although many who've made that claim to the followers of the apocalypse over the years have had less than pure intentions. But if it's really as you say, then take my advice. This installation carries with it dangers that no one here has realized. Take care of what you do here and who you listen to. Some things are best left buried with the old world. I don't entirely know. Our records on the company that built this place suggest that their dealings were not only in energy, but also in weapons. And I've seen equipment here marked with symbols used by the pre-war military. Targeting computers, shock sensors. A code word comes up repeatedly in the papers I've looked through here. Archimedes. Yes, and the technology they have in this facility is like nothing I've seen. Some of it reminds me of Enclave equipment, but more advanced. A weapon based
Enclave,
upon
not
it would be
Enclave.
catastrophic, no matter who claimed it. It's no wonder the Brotherhood wouldn't give it up. They weren't here for me to ask, but I doubt they were here for electricity. When the NCR first came here, it was under Brotherhood control. They usually steered clear of one another, but something here changed their minds. The Brotherhood's interest in pre-war technology has always been in weapons. It's likely they were trying to reclaim Archimedes when the NCR arrived. Then I would say do it. As long as the power of this plant is committed to the regional grid and not to a weapon, we are safe. If you're the one to restore output, then you can route the power where you choose, and they'll never be the wiser. I can't get you past the security in the tower, but I can be of some help. I've discovered a password for one of the mirror-controlled terminals outside. You'll need it.
So it seems like I've gotten 2 passwords now.
Oh, the NCR has their own designs for it, no doubt, but resist the urge to send it only to the thriving communities. The need for power is great everywhere. Distributing it evenly is the most rational and humane choice.
Oh, it seems like we're going to have a real moral decision here.
I'm a man of letters. I'd be torn to pieces by the security system they have in that tower. I'd never reach the mainframe. But eventually, the NCR will. Or if not them, Caesar's Legion. They will use this place for war. Because the possibility exists you might do anything else, you're the only choice I have.
A lot of dialogue here, though, and easy to just walk past this person and not even talk to him and miss half your quest.
Not yet. By some miracle, they've hired an imbecile to try and decipher the systems here. He spent months working at one console trying to get the solar reflectors to track the sun. What he doesn't know is that the only thing the console controls is the plant's intercom system. I tried to tell him, but he insisted that the largest console had to be the most important. Still, it's only a matter of time. Goodbye.
Notice how the fade in of the heads-up display and the gun happened there. That I would have preferred it to not work that way. Okay. So as far as the local map seems to go, there's a tower here, I guess. That's what we're getting to. And this could be a weapon. And then there's 2 passwords to reflect all this, these mirrors. It feels very much like this might just be light redirecting mirrors instead of solar panels, though. And there is a difference there. Every single time. Apparently there was another mine I missed. So, yeah, solar panels directly convert solar energy to power, where light reflecting mirrors in a solar generating configuration would just reflect the sun's rays to a single tower that would have usually sodium, solid sodium, that gets liquefied, and then the sodium melts at a very high temperature and falls down the tower into a steam pool that is like water to create steam to spin a propeller to convert a generator. You would think all of those extra processes would be less efficient, but it's actually a pretty good system because the mirrors just have to be mirrors there, and they don't have to worry about being particularly dirty or out of alignment for just the solar sodium solution to generate energy. But yeah, the solar panels, if they were more efficient, where right now solar panels are not very efficient, if we could get up to like 98% efficiency in the conversion rate, would be passive and would be a better move. Okay, so they're talking about the US Army here. We're talking about Archimedes. Protect the eyewear. Mainframe connection has been reset. Okay. I assume that's pretty much it. It is interesting to have people just sleeping outside, but also I think that helps create the world be more interconnected instead of the inside-outside transitions that were fairly prominent in Fallout 3. Although, honestly, I might prefer more transitions to inside. Like, the truth of it is that there's always been a cheat in games where if you go inside a place, it is usually about at least 80% bigger on the inside than the outside. So you can walk around, well, let's use this as an example. You would have a giant building, much bigger than this tent, that would be fairly small on the outside where you can walk around it. But then once you transitioned into the door, it might be much larger, or go into the basements and have more verticality to it, so that it feels like a full dungeon, a la something like a Zelda game. And yeah, I definitely think I would prefer to see more of that happening, because just walking around here, even though you see all these solar reflectors and it's a nice cinematic visual depiction, there's kind of nothing here. Even if I was to go in circles around every single ring, I bet there isn't a single item worth collecting. Eddie apparently sees something with his perception. Yeah, way over there are some enemies. There's just not going to be anything of any value. Little XP, we'll take that. And the game crashed again. So, we've had, in 1 hour now, a game load and spin up forever. And we've had the game crash. That will give me an opportunity, I guess, to do better on disarming the booby traps. Bullets and things, we'll just ignore all of those. We've also seen from other crashes that things kind of change. So, like, it seems almost randomly generated as you walk up to a door, whether it's locked, or as you walk up to a ammunition box, whether it's locked. Which, that's silly. It's just a really, really silly way to potentially A little messed up there on the disarming of the grenades, but whatever. Yeah. I definitely feel like you would have just pre-generated what would have been in these boxes. Maybe you would have had different things in the boxes based on scrounge ability or yeah, the items seem the same in that case. But yep. If it is sometimes randomly deciding whether a door is locked, that seems like that's extra processing. Although it also makes some sense that you would do it that way, because you might have the game just working really, really hard to make sure your levels are as balanced as possible. Yeah, all those items were the same. That lock was the same. No crash this time. We need to find the other computer terminal. Thought that's what we needed to do. At least let me connect to the Helix from the Eastern Reflector Control Terminal. Okay. So it's got to be, I guess, a little further out. These would be really hot if you touch them. Yeah, it is a little weird that this game doesn't have a kind of heat system built around it. Like, if you were gonna set a game in Nevada's Mojave Desert, it definitely would make some sense to I guess I have to attack the guard dog. I mean, unless they're not gonna attack me. I mean, let's not kill the dogs if they're not gonna really attack me. Okay. I gave him every chance. So I guess that also highlights how if you didn't want to kill any dogs in this game, I'm not sure the game is going to let you get away with that. And I would assume you could probably just hack this if you were not lucky enough to get all the passwords. I'm not really sure what these towers are doing, though. I don't know where the mainframe actually is. So we have an optional arm Archimedes security system to wipe out all nearby NCR soldiers. Why would I do that? This was the password. This was the password. I'm not sure we would have gotten that. Or use Helios 1 mainframe to send power to distribute to that of your choosing. Yeah, I'm not really seeing any argument that I would have even been given enough of an opportunity to talk to the Legion long enough to be so anti-NCR. And I haven't seen the NCR really do anything terrible. Like this dog.
Patrolling the Mojave almost makes you wish for a nuclear winter.
So inside we go. Yeah, it seems like getting rid of all the NCR troops anyways would not really create a long-lasting peace. You would just be getting rid of one form of government for anarchy, which would just eventually get replaced with another form of government, or the total extinction of let's see.
Multiple hostile targets.
I'm just gonna let Eddie take care of them. So we have a Mark III turret. I don't even think I can target it at the angle I'm in. Here we have a Mr. Gusty. Yeah, this is a great example of where my gun is going to be absolutely useless. I would need laser guns. Let's see if we can even equip something like that. No. Let's try that gun. Let's see what that does. Probably going to end up with a bunch of scrap metal. And then I imagine stealth may be a good move here. See if we can. See if we can maybe avoid any more fighting by just getting in this room and maybe turning off the computer. I imagine this is probably just rigged. So this is the first time we've had an opportunity to hack in quite a while. And that first loading section is unnecessary. Alright, so Wardle basically. Elders, thwart, powers, timers, bleeds, straws, nomads, bowels. What does that say? Steals. Probably want the closest ones. So let's go with thwart. Thwart is 1 out of 6 correct, which means it's not reward. And it's not powers. It's not timers. Steals. Maybe. Nope. Ramara. I'm not sure if this is exactly like Wardle. Nomads. Can't be nomads. Orders. Straws. It's not straws. It's not pleads. So we're down to like 4. This was a weird one, so let's go with that. Could this be right? Right, well, I'm gonna exit out and try that again, because that should give me 4 other tries. And I really have to chalk this one up to just being a case of that they're not letting me do this enough. So, crater, sealed, murder, wonder. Should see if something ends ER. What else would line up on that? Member and murder. Those would be fairly close. That's only 2, so let's then go with dealer. That's only 1. So it's not ER. It's not lasted. It's not an ER. Mental. Got it. Basically just by getting lucky. Too many scenes here. And like Fallout 3, there's system information that I'm not sure really needs to be in the game at all. I imagine there will be other turrets that we will have to deal with, and other opportunities to hack in this section. That did get me 30 XP, so I have to appreciate that much. And let's just look down here and see what is going on. Here's an example of something that looks a little too clean compared to all the other broken things. Yeah, and I really don't want to pick up a bunch of crafting junk or useless vendor trash. Frankly, I'd like to see a game just give you XP for leaving things and just having the wisdom to not collect every item. Waste your time. Eyeglasses. Suitcase. Is there possibly some trick to this safe? Okay. Really nothing special in the safe. Pulse grenades. things that might be helpful later on, but for all we know, we're gonna get through this door and then we'll just be at the computer. Programmer's Digest, that might be something we need to use. And ideally, in a quest like this, you'd like to be able to science your way to a solution, and you'd like to be able to find items that would lead to a solution. So, make it a scavenger game, running around finding garbage. As far as I know, this could be a much longer trip than what I thought it was going to be. There's kind of no point in even trying to attack that guy. He's so far away. Take a sunset sarsaparilla, Nuka-Cola. Just let our guy go attack him. Yeah. Clearly I need to find better guns, though. Otherwise I am going to be in a real bad position if I ever lose Eddie. He is doing all the work. Hockey mask. And eyeglasses. Now what would be funny, and this would be something that just doesn't happen in Fallout 3 at all, is if you did just have to find dress-up items and appear like the creator of the
Ready to die for your country, you commie son of a bitch? I have a personal message for you from Uncle Sam.
My stomach is growling like crazy. And I have no idea if Eddie is anywhere close to being damaged. Like, I could tell him to use a stim pack. But no, he's at 180 out of 180. So he's either just not taking any damage because he's so strong, or he's healing damage very quickly. So the game is almost completely broken by just having high science. There's nicer ways to say that, certainly, but it's basically the truth. Is that a high science gets you a far too powerful character that doesn't seem like it really balances out to your level, and then that creates a situation where this is zero rads.
Step into the open and identify yourself. Law-abiding citizens have nothing to fear. Please
So you have clean source.
Law-abiding citizens have nothing to fear.
You have like a clean source of water there. That's odd.
Please step into the open and identify yourself. Law-abiding citizens have nothing.
And just ignore.
This area clear. Proceeding with search protocol.
Ignore the Protectron. from the visual storytelling, it looks like there would be people here at some point. Helios 1 observation level. But you can take all this stuff too without stealing, so my assumption here is that they are long since gone. That would be my guess. And these protectrons are in. Oh, that sound effect. Something turned off the power there. Not sure what. Getting a lot of energy cells and a lot of scrap metal. These boosts were the same boosts in the Area 50, the Alien DLC in Fallout 3. You get abducted and you wake up in one of those booths. Let's look at the local map. Feels like I've probably done everything. We came in here. We went down that way. This was around in a circle. So this is the last place to search. Yeah. And it feels like you should run into somebody who wants to talk to you at least once in every quest, every dungeon, just to keep it interesting. And apparently knocking things, or you have an object here that's just falling through space and getting repositioned every time it falls through the floor. Yeah. There is a bigger thought, certainly, that there is some kind of computer controlling things, but there might be multiple computers. Milk bottles, probably not worth picking up, even though we've never really seen a milk bottle before. Okay. So this would be the point where it would make sense to run into somebody that was actually willing to talk. Interesting art, we don't see that very often. Or I haven't seen it before at all. We've got what looks like an actual computer mainframe terminal to hack. And I assume our science will be high enough. Should be somewhat careful that there isn't, once again, mines or booby traps. Finding 6 bottle caps is absolutely pointless. Yep. Whole gimmick of caps. It's not being continued in this game particularly well. Let's see. What more do we have over here? We have what looks like some kind of targeting hologram projector, which I really haven't seen that technology in Fallout games before. We have a character named Python, and we have a brain in a jar that looks broken. Let's talk to Python. Let's see, so this robot has been fitted with a variety of tools specialized for industrial maintenance. There's a slot in the back of the head that looks like a key card could be fitted. Science of 45 or Poseidon Energy ID card required. Let's do science. Where are you going? Wow, don't run away. Well, Python seems not to want to talk to me. Okay. Okay, so that fixed the wiring to the mainframe, so I guess we needed to do that. To get to the power here. Okay. And see, that's probably a great example of where in a modern game you would just have a character have some scripted dialogue where they would say something out loud to themselves to just tell the player this needs to happen, this needs to happen, this needs to happen. Just subtly guide the player to the right direction. Okay. What can we do here? Let's configure the power grid. Let's see. Full region emergency output level or full region. Probably just full region would make sense. Let's look at the initial trials. See, you don't know if clicking on a button is going to lead to actually loading a message or doing something different. So, okay. See, and I'm 50-50 here. I think I just want to kind of save scum and cheat a little bit here. Because I don't know if emergency output level would mean put out a smaller amount of power, which would probably be the right amount of power at this point, or if it would put out a too much of an amount of power. Let's see. Arm Archimedes plant defense system. Do we want to do that? To defend the plant. Even. Let's just look at the quests here and see what our options are. Optional arm Archimedes security system to white out all nearby NCR soldiers. No, I just don't think I want to do that. I could see the idea here that for the better of society, maybe you just turn on the defense system so nobody can come in here and mess with it. Still not sure if emergency output levels are correct. But yeah, I think there's just a level here where you have to kind of have faith in the NCR that they won't do something too crazy. And this brain seems like it's never going to talk to me, and these maps seems like that's not going to lead to anything. Like you can't activate it or interact with it or overlay your Pip-Boy. And we could bring up the Pip-Boy just to see if it did something. Okay. So this puts us at the top of the tower. So we went from the very bottom to the very top with a very abrupt transition there. It really would have to be more of a case of the NCR betraying me first if I was going to kill all the soldiers in this area. That might be part of a way in which the energy gets reflected. And I question if maybe we shouldn't be doing this in the middle of the day. This console is unresponsive. For it to operate properly, it would need to be activated during the peak sunlight hours of 9 AM to 3 PM. A power configuration would need to be set up at the lower mainframes, and the 2 ground terminals would need to have an uplink. Okay. So I think the problem here is just the time, so we'll just wait here for 10 hours. Yeah. Try that again. Okay, so now we talk to Ignacio. You didn't get blinded by not wearing protective eyewear. At least. You can't just jump down. So the hope is this would work, but we also see a lot of power poles in Fallout games that don't have any wires attached to them, so you'd have to assume that there was buried electrical wires or some other form of transferring energy that they were engaged with. Let's see, as far as the quest goes, I guess the emergency output level is okay. And then let's see, what is the fastest way out of here? Ignacio was the scientist guy that actually seemed like he knew a little bit of science. Not fantastic. He knew obviously nothing. It's still too small of a dungeon. Just not enough going on here. Not enough enemies. I definitely would like to see twice as many enemies with half as much health. And maybe if you're playing on a higher difficulty, you would see twice as many enemies with the same amount of health. But yeah, playing on very easy. You are just limited by the number of characters. And the level design itself really feels like you're fairly limited on how many characters could actually be in an area at one time. It doesn't seem realistic that they could cram that dungeon with twice as many enemies. Wonder if there's anything over here. Probably not. And I'm hoping I can jump to get over that. This area is way too small. This should be Ignacio.
What can I help you with?
I overloaded the plant and will be able to use it to power a weapon. Oh, I guess that was the emergency power overload.
So I saw. Shame to let the energy go to waste, but on the other hand, now we can rest easy. Here, accept these for your efforts. Keeping watch mostly. Trying to make sure the dangers of this plane are minimized.
Okay.
Goodbye.
So that was not my goal. So let's do it again. So we don't want full region emergency output level. We want full region, period. And that definitely doesn't seem like they did a good job explaining that. Oh, and this is just gonna really suck because it's gonna be walk all the way up to this point. And I imagine if I did jump from this edge, I probably would just instant die. There almost certainly is an instant death scenario for something this high. Wait 10 hours. You have to actually wait, which you can see there's whole visual effects and lighting and processing happening here for every single hour. Okay. Still not seeing like bolts of lightning go through the air or anything like that. So power more than likely is being sent to the cities via buried cables or some other technology. This time it seems like it's still buzzing, so I'll assume that that was correct for what I was trying to achieve. Still, even on the second attempt, not finding the direct path. This would be a great point where turning on the power would have activated even more security drones, and so you would have had to fight your way out instead of every single dungeon really wrapping up once you get to that endpoint, which would be fine if the dungeons wrapped up when you got to an endpoint, if there was then some kind of shortcut like in Skyrim that allowed you to... Am I going the right direction? I don't think I am. Yeah, if there was a shortcut that allowed you to exit after you'd done everything. But Fallout games don't really seem to have a lot of those circular labyrinth with the secret exits built in. So it is still buzzing, and you can even see little bits of strands of rays of light going from point to point. And this is another really long episode, but the game did crash and we're replaying content. Inevitably, once I finish this, unless they give me another quest, I am going to have to start seeking out other quests.
Hello. What can I help you with?
Let's see, I diverted the power to the grid.
I saw that on the monitors here, and you sent it to everyone. Very admirable. Now that the NCR has more or less what they want, hopefully their curiosity about the plan is satisfied, and they'll dig no deeper. The followers will be grateful. Here, take these as a parting gift. I hope you'll find them useful.
So 350 XP, big book of science added, doctor's bags added, and we now have some fame with the followers of the
Keeping watch
apocalypse.
mostly. Trying to make sure the dangers of this planet are minimized. Goodbye.
So we have now been accepted by the followers of the apocalypse. Let's go talk to Fantastic and see if he has anything to say.
Yo.
Nothing.
Adios, amigo.
Okay. And so then the last person to talk to, and it's going to be a bit of a journey, would be the NCR leader. There was a whole section here we didn't go through. Whoops. That gave me 20 XP though for losing that karma. It's probably worth losing the karma. And that would have been, I guess, just the way you snuck in.
What is it?
Let's see if she has anything to say.
Later.
Okay. Let's go ahead and use a doctor's bag and fix all of that. And then we have a big book of science, which increases our science by 4. And I don't think we probably have anything else that we would want to read right now, because the rest are just all magazines. I will probably start to run out of space and have to get rid of all the scrap metal that I have picked up over this process. I really don't have too much here I need to really worry about either. Alright, well, let's make a new save, and in this episode, we went a little bit longer. We'll just have to figure out what we're going to do next in the next episode. That's going to be it for this one. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, and keep on watching. Thanks.